Ajmal Kasab was hanged by neck till death today morning at 7:30.
Those families to whom our heart goes out today must have some sense of satisfaction that justice has been done.
इतनी सिक्रेसी हम इसलिए रखे थे कि कोई भी ऐसी चीजें होती हैं वो सिक्रेसी रखना जरूरी होता है.
If at all it's a closure of one chapter.
It's a sense of satisfaction. Why not closure, ma'am? Because still masterminds are there in the Pakistan.
We've considered it important to convey to the government of Pakistan.
पर 5 साल होने के बाद भी आज तक अफजल गुरु को फांसी की सजा नहीं दी गई.
Ajmal Kasab, Pakistani terrorist and the face of the 26/11 attacks on Mumbai, was hanged secretly today in Pune's Yerwada jail. Will this bring a closure to the victims at a time when those wanted, many of them members of Lashkar-e-Taiba and the ISI, still roam free, perhaps in Pakistan? We'll have more of that and debate threadbare the entire issue. But first, let's take a quick look at what's happened throughout the day. Well, Kasab, as we are saying, was the only terrorist who was captured alive by the Mumbai police during the attack, and he has been executed today at the Yerwada jail at 7:30 a.m. And of course, this was not known by anybody. Kasab has also been buried inside the jail itself. The Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Prithviraj Chavan, confirming that. Now, on November 19th, Kasab was moved to Yerwada jail from the Arthur Road jail, where he was kept for the last 4 years. And Kasab was told on November 12th that he will be hanged. Kasab wanted to tell his mother and ask her that she should be informed. Also, way back on October 16th, 2012, the Union Home Ministry had recommended the President for rejection of Kasab's mercy petition, which of course came after the Supreme Court also upheld the lower court's order. Now, on November 5th, 2012, President Pranab Mukherjee also rejected Kasab's plea, which was, of course, rather obvious. Now, what's more important is that this entire operation, which was held inside the Yerwada jail, was called Operation X, and it was carried out in complete secrecy. And India says they did try to inform Pakistan thrice. Pakistan, in turn, ignored hand-delivered letters, and then it was couriered and also faxed to them. Of course, the letter has not been rejected. Pakistan says that. They acknowledge that this has been received, and they also have agreed that this was acknowledged by Pakistan itself. Now, many of the victims say Kasab was just a pawn. The mastermind still roams free. Who is that? Of course, it's Hafiz Saeed, the founder of Lashkar-e-Taiba. India says Hafiz Saeed is the man behind the 2008 Mumbai attacks, and Pakistan should punish him. But despite being declared a global terrorist, Saeed still roams free in Pakistan. Law Minister Salman Khurshid told NDTV's Sonia Singh that Kasab's hanging will send out a strong message to the world that India stands the rule of law. We also hope for some action from Pakistan now.
What for you, sir, is the larger implications of today's hanging? We know, for instance, one aspect is that India says this shows that how the legal system has worked in the case of Kasab. In fact, recently, Pakistani politician Imran Khan also made the point that I wish America had done this with Osama bin Laden, that we put him on trial, we got his confessional statement, which implicated Pakistan in a sense, and he's gone through the due process of law. What for you is the larger implication and the message to the world that India would like to send out with today's hanging?
Well, I do hope that the message to the world is well taken, that India does stand by rule of law, that we have transparent, objective systems to bring people to accountability, whether they happen to be our own citizens or citizens of any other country, and that we can't be faulted for being meticulous in observing rule of law. Sometimes at the cost of being misunderstood by some people who might be extremely angry at what was most certainly inhuman conduct and something that caused tremendous agony and was an inflicted tragedy upon a lot of innocent people.
Yes.
But nevertheless, no matter what the provocation and pressure, India always remains steadfast in its commitment to rule of law. And I hope that this message is conveyed not only to the rest of the world, but particularly to those who have toyed with the idea of trifling with India's security, that they would now think many times over before they do such adventurism again.
Yet, of course, the understanding amongst the Indian government and the security establishment also that at the end of the day, Ajmal Kasab was a pawn. If we want to send out a message perhaps that India is tough on terror, you mentioned just now that it would send out a message to those who try to breach India's security. The masterminds are not Ajmal Kasab, but we say Hafiz Saeed amongst them, who is currently roaming free in Pakistan. How far is India really going with Pakistan in that sense, in actually making sure that some justice is done there?
Well, you do know that this has been a major concern and a major issue in any dialogue with Pakistan, that my colleagues, including the former Home Minister, the then Home Minister, Mr. Chidambaram, brought this to the notice of his counterpart in Pakistan during his visit. We have given dossiers and we've given a wish list. I can't say that there is much satisfaction on that front as yet. We are carefully watching signals, and we certainly are expecting some movement forward, and I think it's important for our neighbor to understand that this movement forward is really very important before any advance can be made in normalizing relations. But of course, having said that, we are sure that we are not alone in using such pressure or such persuasion as can be used against Pakistani government. I'm sure that there are other countries also who care for humanity and who care for peace, who would put in whatever effort they can to persuade Pakistan to bring about accountability that is necessary.
Are some of those other chapters and other concerns also, sir, of course, of Afzal Guru, because it's not just the BJP Narendra Modi, but also your colleague Digvijay Singh, who has asked, so when are we getting a decision on Afzal Guru, who, of course, his sentence has been given by the Supreme Court for years. The actual attack happened in 2001 and is still on death row and no decision yet.
Well, I don't want to comment on the merits of any case, because you know that the President of India is the last word. And the President of India is supported by analysis and information that's provided by the Home Minister and the Home Ministry, and he then takes the final call. And I think that it's not really appropriate for us to be discussing specific merits of any case.
I think the President has sent that file back actually to the Home Minister, Mr. Shinde. But to ask, sir, are there different sensitivities involved in the hanging of Afzal Guru and of Ajmal Kasab? Is it, for any government, is that a political reality today?
It's not a question of political reality, although I must admit that it would be strange if somebody said we are not influenced by political reality. But you have to keep yourself to an extent aloof from anything that's extraneous in deciding what is essentially a moral and political and a legal obligation, a constitutional obligation, and that's what we've tried to fulfill. And in any other case, I'm sure the same standards, same high standards will be applied to decision making, and the decision making will be equally above board, as objective and as scientific as possible.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app. Fully optimized for retina display. Full screen view. Faster response time. And Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.